Hi, everyone, and welcome to Awardswatch Oscar Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Anderson, and this is the first podcast of the new season, the 2015-2016 Oscar season. It's Saturday, April 11th, and we're just, 6 weeks out of the most recent Oscars, but it's never too early to start. And with me, I have an old favorite and a new face, or voice, as it were, to the Gold Rush Gang. Each year, the Gold Rush Gang members change up a little bit, and we've got a returning favorite in Long Pham. Hello, Long, how are you?
I'm good.
I'm so happy to have you back, and I definitely hope that Keira Knightley is in here somewhere this year so that we have something really fun to talk about.
She has one film, I think, and it's a pretty small role, I think.
Oh, well, that's too bad. I'm sure we can find a way to make fun of her, though, at some point this year.
Yeah, probably.
And we have a new face and voice this year in the form of Adam Norbury, and this was Adam's first stab at the Gold Rush contest, and he killed it. So, big props to him, and...
Hello.
Adam, hi, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Excellent. So for those listening at home that haven't checked out the little bio profiles of the new Gold Rush Gang, what's your story in a sentence?
I'm a college business student, like economics, and kind of a data analysis is my thing. That's kind of how things interest me like that, and that's how I segue. And I'm a big film fan, have been for years, and kind of the mixture of that kind of led me to predicting Oscars, led me to predicting like box office predictions and whatnot. And that's kind of how I found the board. Sometime last year.
That's awesome. So you can sort of like be our Nate Silver. How about that?
I'm not sure. Do I know that reference?
Nate Silver from 538. He started
it's a political reference. He does a lot of election stuff.
Yeah, he started with elections, and then he tried to do...
I've seen his site.
Oscar predictions, sort of using the same, and it didn't quite work out as well for him as the elections.
Oh, he did? Yeah. He tried to get in the Oscar predictions once?
Yeah, for a couple of years.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at his site now. Yeah, I've seen this.
He's cool. He's cool. But see, you've got the two worlds together, so we will be able to utilize that as well as possible. All right, let's get on it and look at what we have for very early contenders for the year. I think generally Awardswatch is pretty good at nailing down things early in the year. We don't have a whole lot of really crazy predictions like some Oscar bloggers do. We get pretty serious. We're really good with actress, as as most might know. But let's take a look at Best Picture, and we'll talk in a little bit about the Board of Governors possibly switching back to a 5-nominee slate. But right now we're always looking at 10 nominees and then working from there. And currently 2 films are really, really close with the Gold Rush Gang, and that's Joy from David O. Russell and Bridge of Spies from Steven Spielberg. And we're all pretty high on it, with the exception of Jason, who has his own strange and interesting esoteric rankings here, and I hope to get him on the podcast soon to explain himself. But for now, it's just us. But the thing about this early in the year is that virtually nothing has been seen of like the big films that we have, with the exception of Carol, which just test screened. And I think they're, at least from our board, there are very, very high expectations and high hopes. And the response was good, not great, I think, as many people thought. Adam, what did you glean from from the response of the screenings?
Awesome Carol?
Yeah.
Probably didn't follow as much as I should, but I did see some mixed. I mean, I know it's been embargoed mostly, but I did hear some people I know, specifically from Letterboxd who saw it, and I saw mixed things. I saw someone who gave it 3 stars, and I did skim the forum board, but yeah, it seems definitely positive. And at this early on with Blanchett and Mara and whatnot, it definitely seems like the actress vessel, I think, in the biggest sense. And I think it was still good to stay on board with that. But, I think it could go either way, to be honest. But this early on, it feels like one of the safest predictions.
Yeah, I think so too. Long, what did you think about the reactions?
I think there's a lot of posters actually had a lot of confidence and high expectations, but I always felt that Todd Haynes is a very really surprised that the film isn't very emotional and kind of cold and detached, and so I never really expected a lot from it. I never really expected it to be quote unquote Harvey's number one, as we always like to try to figure out this early on, but yeah.
Yeah,
he has so much on his plate this year. So it's strange to see what he's going to pick as number one, whether it's this or Adam Jones, or maybe he goes with Tarantino. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we might see another situation like Talented Mr. Ripley, which was also a Patricia Highsmith, where it was very well respected and had a lot of the nice coffee table awards and the one acting award or nomination for Jude Law, and maybe not quite as big as a lot of us think it might be. I know I still have a lot of faith in it. It is my number 2 right now, but this is also April, and it's going to have lots of film festivals throughout the year to build and build.
Mm-hmm.
Lots.
Yeah, but I think it's it'll probably definitely go to Cannes, as it seems, and probably one of the really big premieres there. But I just think stylistically, I mean, there's no really evidence that the Academy is huge fans of Todd Haynes and really kind of embrace his style of filmmaking. So I mean, I feel like it's one of those things where I could see it doing pretty well. I don't think it's gonna win anything based on the reactions, but Far From Heaven really underperformed and missed a lot of, I think, surefire nods. So I think it could go either way with this film. I don't really have a lot of confidence, but I could see it doing really well critically and being able to get.
I'm sort of where I'm kind of coming from with it is the way that like the Coen brothers and Paul Thomas Anderson kind of built themselves up from a long history of being auteurs and indie directors, and getting real Academy attention, and I feel like that could easily happen to Todd Haynes too. But I do think the film probably needs to be a little bit more accessible than what it seems like it is, and whether that's done through some editing, tweaking, or score or something, I'm not sure. But it seems like to me it could be that kind of breakthrough for him.
And assuming it does go to Cannes, we'll get a much better picture of it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Of how it works that way.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I think we're all expecting it to do really well there, though, right? I mean, I don't think even the people who are kind of iffy on it expect it to do well. I mean,
yeah, but that's also a huge disadvantage for it, because if the expectations for it to do very well are there, and then it doesn't, it'll underperform even if it does well.
That's true.
So it's kind of it's a bit of a double-edged sword for a film like that. and again, it will be, since it's only a month away, it'll still be the only thing in this top 10 of ours anyway, that will be seen, unless Inside Out makes, some kind of out of competition placement or something. But I mean, nothing else is going to be ready. So, speaking of things that aren't ready, what are you guys thinking of Joy? Because right now it's only 1 point ahead of Bridge of Spies, but it's the number one in Best Picture right now. It's number 2 in Director and number 2 in Actress, and I think number 1 in Supporting Actor, number 1 in Original Screenplay. So, obviously, everybody collectively in the Gold Rush gang has a lot of faith in the recent history of David O. Russell. So, are we
definitely the biggest reason?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people at first thought this is not going to be a serious enough kind of movie to compete, but it doesn't appear that way from people's rankings. It seems like it could very well be his breakthrough.
As like a winner?
As a winner.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Don't be silly, Long. You know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, he's thirsty for it, for sure. So.
He is thirsty.
If he is like really trying to go for it, I feel like in terms of showiness, I don't know how he can top American Hustle. Like, that's just him like putting his whole style out there. That's why it was too much, I think. And I don't know if the Academy will respond to that if he tries to go even higher.
Well, what I'm going
to
be most interested in is to see what the tone of the film is, because he does play with a lot of different tones and satire and comedy and drama. And Silver Linings Playbook was huge, explosive, and that was comedy, drama, and I have a feeling it's probably going to play much closer to Silver Linings Playbook than anything.
In terms that it would be kind of...
Well, what was that? One more time. Sorry, Adam.
In terms that it will be like comedic in its tone.
I think so. I think it will. I think that's going to give it the accessibility to also make it a hit.
Yeah. I think. I mean, I agree. Like, the only reason I'm predicting it is because of Russell's track record. I wasn't really a big fan of American Hustle. I really didn't enjoy it. I didn't really get the praise, and this seems very similar in that kind of style of a lot of showy, loud character, and it just seems very been there, done that for me. But we know that the Academy has no problem,
with been there, done that.
Yeah, they have no problem voting for the same stuff over and over again, as we see all the time. So
yes, I mean, it's not as bad as the Emmys, but yes.
Yeah,
but I'm just here for the renaissance of Diane Ladd and Isabella Rossellini.
Okay, I'm gonna have to stop and say something about that. Like, I don't understand why people have so much confidence in her as a supporting actress contender. Like, it's...
I know, you're not picking her. I can see
that.
Yeah,
because they have no idea. Like, if her role's any good, people just want it to happen because they want to see her campaign, for the nomination or even for the win. People want her to go,
I don't think she's gonna go nuts. I don't think she's
really?
quite this. No, I don't think she's the same as she
only
was.
If Russell makes her.
As she was for Wild at Heart.
But yeah.
But she probably knows that if this is probably her best chance if she ever wants to win. Like, I could see her. I mean, the whole family is
thirsty.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. Well, I mean, you don't need to look farther than Laura Dern, who didn't hit any precursors, but she hit every single party and carpet and shook every hand and kissed every baby possible.
Yeah, it's because she learned from the best, and I couldn't imagine, Lad just really going for it. I mean, regardless if her role is even showy or prominent or substantial in any way, there's what I think potentially significant female supporting roles in that, and so it's like hard for me to have any confidence in choosing just one to be the standout.
Well,
she is supposed to be like the grandmother something character, either the mom or the grandmother character, right? And that is supposed to be the biggest female supporting. Yeah, I think that's the main reason behind her.
I'm just glad it wasn't June Squibb. I'm just saying that.
You can go.
I was just gonna say, like, based on the script reviews, at least based on the original script, I think they said that the biggest female role, the supporting female role, was the best friend role, which I forgot the actress from Orange is the New Black that's supposedly playing that character.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Well, I'm just going to pretend that does not matter because that girl is a horrible actress.
And mainly, I think it's terms of, I don't know, just the best friend role in general doesn't seem like a role that would be showy in a way to Ampus. And, I mean, I won't lie, the main reason I'm predicting her in general is just Russell's history with actors, and I feel, at least in this early point, kind of idiotic to not be going for Russell's actors, judging from his last two movies, but the first got 4 acting nominations in so many years.
Yeah, twice in a row.
Yeah.
So essentially, Adam just called you an idiot, so.
Definitely.
No, look, I get it. It's not like...
Yeah, and I get what he's saying, too.
Yeah.
I totally would put in an Russell actress.
If we knew which one is the biggest.
Yeah, like, if I knew for sure, okay, this is the role, or this is the actress that's going to stand out. But at this point in time, I mean... I just don't have any confidence that it's Lad. I mean, I was thinking maybe it was going to be Elizabeth Rome, who's playing the sister. Maybe it's potentially Isabella Rossellini, who I guess is playing the girlfriend of the dad, which could be a potentially loud role too. But there's so many. There's like I said, there's 4 or 5. It's hard to really...
Well, clearly he's just going to get all of them in. So.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
No, I think it's going to be too undeniable for the Academy to not continue lauding the Dern Ladd family with 3 in a row. It's just it's inevitable.
You think that will happen?
Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah, it would be 3 in a row.
Yeah, it'll be Bruce Dern, Laura Dern, and then Diane Ladd. All of whom have been nominated before, but they're all had comeback nominations. I think it's going to be undeniable.
Undeniable. Oh.
Yes. Well, since we're on supporting actress, let's continue and look at yours, Long Pham, because not only do you not have Diane Ladd, you don't have Naomi Watts. And you have Olivia Cook from Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. Which
okay, first of all,
totally not going to happen.
I didn't have Watts.
What's that?
I thought you would be happy if I didn't have Watts.
I'd rather you be right. I have her. She's my number 2.
Okay, alright.
But you have the girl from that Sundance movie that's going to do absolutely nothing. So I want your explanation because you are the only one. Because that's some Jason Dirk level trolling.
Please.
I wouldn't call it that. That's
really low. That's really low. I actually do think she has a really good chance of being nominated. So, that all comes from my confidence in me and Earl and the Dying Girl doing well with the Academy and being embraced. So I mean, I think if it makes sense if I think that it's getting to picture an adapted screenplay that I think it will get an acting nomination. She has a substantial role that we know She's also the one that has probably the baitiest role on paper. She's the one that is dying of cancer, and we know that that's something that
spoiler alert. Oh wait, never mind.
Yeah, that's. I mean, she shaved her head. I mean, there's a lot of baity aspects to the performance. I mean, the trailer dropped this week, so we got to see a little glimpses of the film and her performance, and I feel pretty good that she has a chance. I'm not saying it's a lock, but I think I think there's a path for her to get it.
I think there's a path for her to like the Gotham Awards and the Indie Spirits.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
but that's it.
Can you not envision me and Earl and the Dying Girl being like as a best picture nominee?
No, not in any shape or form at all.
I'm somewhere in the middle. I can see it getting in. I mean, it won Sundance and with its history, but at the same time, it seems much more a Sundancey picture, unless something like Little Miss Sunshine happens. I can't see it going very far. And I do see what you're saying, that like if it gets in the picture, where else is it going to go besides screenplay? And I guess that's why you're putting it in supporting actors. But I don't know, it just doesn't seem right to me putting Olivia Cooke in there. Even after seeing the trailer, she does shave her head, she does have that baity role, but it doesn't seem like a role that will get her a lot of maybe, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but nothing performance-wise that people are going to go like, oh, I need to nominate her.
I mean,
I actually thought even less of it after seeing the trailer. I was
okay,
but that was personal opinion. But in looking like at the adapted screenplay contenders, it's a really short list this year. It's like, I mean, last year was too, but this is a really short list. So I could see it being able to get in there without a whole lot of difficulty. I can see that.
Yeah.
The list is probably going to expand later on. It just, if I think of all the acting categories, it feels the most unstable.
I just wanted to bring up like, I mean, I understand everybody's point that like, is she doing anything new or that interesting in the role? Probably not. But I mean that doesn't really matter if the film itself is widely embraced. I mean, did Abigail Breslin do anything really interesting in Little Miss Sunshine? Like, she was just cute, essentially. That's why
she wasn't even that. But okay.
I mean, she just danced and was cute for.
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna shame you for it. You're the only person that has it, and if you are right, then you're right first, and you get that.
It's true. I mean, I just think that there's a lot, there's a lot there that indicates. I mean, the reviews are amazing. It won the top 2 awards at Sundance, which has a pretty good track record. I think
it's got a really good track record.
So,
and we just saw Whiplash, do that and just kill it.
Yeah. I mean, that was one film also that like kind of built steam as the season went along. A lot of people early on were skeptical, and I was one of those too. I wasn't one of the people that thought Whiplash would break out as much as it did, awards wise. So
yeah, I mean, I was fine with J.K. Simmons, but not with anything else, and it did really, really well.
Yeah.
So let's talk then a little bit about Naomi Watts, and since we are in this category, not to just pick on you, Long, but since
no.
Everybody either has her as their 1, 2, or 3 right now, and you've got Olivia Cooke, Helena Bonham Carter, which everybody has, Ellen Page, which it looks like about half of us have. Alicia Vikander for The Danish Girl, which about half of us have, and that's a whole other conversation about is she going supporting her lead.
Yeah.
Which we can do too, but I mean, I don't know. Demolition is obviously going to need to be a film that does well, and it feels like it could, and Jean-Marc Vallée has now 2 years in a row of getting a lead and supporting nomination.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I think she stands a really good chance. I had her in my predictions, but the only reason I took her out was because faith in
Was because of
a lot of it's because of the script reviews. I think a lot of
that's right.
of the posters here have read the script and kind of or like kind of just didn't really enjoy it very much. And I think the way that people, I've heard the description of it's American Beauty meets Silver Linings Playbook, and I think that kind of tone is kind of hard to get right on film, I think, and I'm not sure if Valet is the right director to really.
Okay. All right. What do you?
That's really it. I mean, on paper, I mean, it has Fox Searchlight, it has Gyllenhaal and Watts, who are both previous nominees. So I mean, I definitely think there's potential for it. I'm not saying that it's possible, but I've just been losing faith that based on what I know and what I've heard other people say about the scripts. But it could definitely, Valet could definitely pull it off, and it could definitely be a big contender.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to need the festival circuit to boost it. But, well, let's...
And that's Fox Searchlight.
Yeah, it is Fox Searchlight, so I don't know, I feel pretty good about them. It'll probably hit Tilly, right? So...
Yeah, definitely.
They love that. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Alicia Vikander thing, and if she is going to be a thing, or not.
She's gonna be she's gonna have an amazing year. It's gonna be a thing.
So much happening.
Yeah, she has a massive year. She's no Felicia Johnson. But
no. She's Alicia.
She's a little bit more of the real deal, and she's not gonna. I don't think she's gonna be just necessarily carried, to the nominations because of Eddie Redmayne, like Felicity Jones was. She's gonna be there on her own accord, and because she's gonna have a big year of multiple films that show a wide range.
Yeah. I mean, even this month, or is it coming out today? The Ex Machina.
Well, yesterday I think.
Yeah. Yesterday. So, yeah. I think she's gotten pretty good notices for that. So.
Yes.
I definitely see. Definitely thirsty for that nom. She's definitely already planning her campaign.
Yeah, it's funny. Her votes with the Gold Rush gang are split. 5 in supporting and 5 in lead right now.
Wow.
So clearly that says once it gets closer to being decided, she's going to end up being top 3 in whatever category that she ends up in.
To me, like, the people putting her in lead mainly, I don't know, it feels like it's just being Felicity Jones Part 2.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of us are, really kind of had to start with.
Yeah.
With that.
But I mean, the Stephen Hawking picture had the whole thing. It was adapted from the book written by the wife. The wife was half a story. In the movie, she was easily the lead character.
Yeah, it was her perspective.
But while in, this other film, I don't know anything about the what it's being adapted from, but I don't think there's any indication it's not solely on Redmayne's character.
Yeah.
Which is why I have her in supporting.
Yeah. And 99.9% of the set photos are all him anyway.
Yeah.
There's been I think the first of hers came out this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I have her in supporting. I had her in lead, but I have her in supporting now. It's because of Focus acquiring Suffragette.
That's the other big reason.
Yeah, and having Mulligan. I mean, Mulligan's clearly the lead of that film, and if she gets traction, it's going to be difficult for Focus to get 2 Best Actress nominations. I mean, not impossible, but more difficult. And I think it's more likely for Focus to get 2 supporting actress nominees in that category. So that's why I kind of switched her. I think Focus is smart. I think they have no problems pushing kind of co-lead performances in supporting. I remember that there was a lot of talk right after Toronto that Jones was potentially going supporting. But I think they made the right call in the sense that lead actress was open enough that Felicity Jones was the easy nomination. But I think they definitely are open to pushing co-leads to supporting for getting maximum nominations for a film with
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Looks like I'm one of only of 4 people that does not have Carey Mulligan in. Let's see, Evan, Kenneth, Nicole, and myself.
Is there a reason? I'm gonna call you out now. Like, everybody seems pretty
sure.
high.
I have Helena Bonham Carter in supporting, but I don't have any feeling from Suffragette yet. The delays haven't really given me any reason to support it, but I think I'm sure I'll come around to it if it looks like it's going that way, and I think topically it could be really strong, really good. In a strange way, it would almost make more sense if it came out next year, if Hillary Clinton ends up being the front runner.
She's gonna run this year. She'll probably be in the news, and it'll be part of her campaign, the primary campaign. So
yeah, it's a good topical thing, but that didn't help Selma. So
yeah,
don't even remind me.
He got in the picture at least,
Yeah, but it's funny because we look at all of these variables as to what we think that they're going to be thinking of at the time, and sometimes it's true, and sometimes it couldn't be any further off. And they're like, I'm just going to vote for my friend, or I'm going to vote for the movie that was not this, whatever. So I don't know. There's also a lot of support in the Gold Rush gang for Saoirse Ronan in Brooklyn. That looks like 1, 2, 3, 6 of the 10 of us. And
I had her in for my April predictions, but honestly, I might take her out now.
Yeah,
maybe put Streep back in.
I have Streep in. It's just, I have her in just as a placeholder.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just. And in looking at the list and the thing that I wrote up for Best Actress a few weeks ago is that there's a crazy potential that the last 4 winners could be nominated. It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
So you've got Cate Blanchett, Jennifer Lawrence, Julianne Moore, Meryl Streep.
Actually,
oh
wow, I did think
it's
that.
Bizarre.
But I think a lot of them are.
Bullock was only 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Yeah, so it's.
Oh yeah, Bullock. Yeah,
she's right behind. She's tied with Streep with the Gold Rush gang in very low numbers, but still she's there. And but it's funny because that speaks, I think, to not just the predictions, but that we're predicting that the Academy is going to be that. Boring or transparent, that they're like, oh yes, we just gave something to her, so I know her name.
Sometimes it works.
It does sometimes work. But so, like, for example, Saoirse Ronan, both you guys have her in, and I don't.
Yeah.
You have her low down in 4th and 5th, but. What's is it just that she's a previous nominee, or that the movie you think is going to go somewhere for her?
I think.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Long.
Okay. I think she has really, really strong reviews from Sundance as Fox Searchlight. She is a previous nominee, so I think all those factors combined together, I think, make her likely in my opinion. Like, she's the only one that has quote unquote, published reviews on the film and on the performance.
True.
So she's the only one that we know for that has we have evidence that she she's gonna potentially have a film and have a performance that AMPAs can really connect to. And I think the film itself seems very traditionally Oscar-y, like a melodrama, like a romantic melodrama period film. So it seems like she has a lot going for her, and I can't really imagine the previous four that we're talking about getting nominations. I'm kind of a little bit down on Streep, and I'm not sure if the film will be her 20th nomination.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you. I totally get that.
And in the same way, the review, like you said, the only one with published reviews, and they are very good reviews. And it definitely seems like something Searchlight can make a campaign out of for the film, even if it's not going straight for picture. But, at this early, who knows what their priorities are going to be. And we know that they can handle a lot more than just one or two. So
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's kind of mosey a little bit over to to lead actor, because that's kind of a fun category, and it also looks like it could be crammed full of previous winners or nominees.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, not surprisingly, Eddie Redmayne has a pretty commanding lead. He's the Cate Blanchett of actors right now. For us.
Don't.
isn't it Jessica Chastain of actors? It's pretty much her in the role.
Oh God.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, some of those on-set pictures are not really the most flattering. So. But at least he has a better stylist than Jessica Chastain.
I mean, that's truth. I mean, I'm a huge Jessica Chastain fan, but
so there's here's what's a lot of interesting things that are going on with this category, and potential just fun stuff. I mean, obviously Eddie Redmayne just won, and now looks like a front runner again, and he would be one of the very few back-to-back Oscar winners, and the first since Tom Hanks to do that. And Tom Hanks is also a contender here for Bridge of Spies, which would be Steven Spielberg's first film since Lincoln in 2012. But then you have Leonardo DiCaprio, who seems to be a consistent bridesmaid at the Oscars, and even when something seems like it's going to be his vehicle, he's constantly usurped by someone else.
yeah, definitely.
He's in second place with the Gold Rush Gang, but 12 points down, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Only Jackie has him at number one. But what are you guys thinking about a potential battle between Redmayne and DiCaprio? Is that what you're looking at?
I think it's a little early to narrow down that in the end the battle will be between them.
Yes,
but
I know. But we're just talking about it right now, like it's happening now.
yeah, I mean, they feel like two different ends of the spectrum in a way. Redmayne is a super baity, ampus role, transformative, yada yada. Well, DiCaprio, I mean, he ampus friendly at all, and I guess I kind of see that, but I don't know. I can't shake the fact that I think they'll go after it, especially DiCaprio, and he seems to have a lot of the role. I'm just scared it'll end kind of in the way that Robert Redford ended in All's Lost, because that's a role that we all thought was going to do the same, and it seems somewhat similar in the fact that he's going to be alone for most of the movie, so who knows how much dialogue there's going to be in it, unless half the film is flashback, and wondering if that will go through. But then, it's DiCaprio, and even though he's been shunned out several times, it's still pretty safe to predict him. Has 4 or 5 nominations every year.
Yeah. So I'm curious too because this will be coming right off of the success of Birdman for Iñárritu and his winning 3 Oscars this year. If they're going to be ready to just jump right back into him, and if all of this little on-set infighting is going to have any impact, because
great. It's pretty great.
It's even though it's very early, this has been some really ugly stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, physical fighting and choking and goodness. What's that going to look like on the red carpet when they have to all stand next to each other?
Yeah, that's gonna be... But I think I could see a potential whisper campaign against Iñárritu, come the season. Like I could easily from a rival studio, planting stories.
And by rival studio, you mean Harvey Weinstein?
I mean, yeah, Harvey or whoever, right?
Yeah.
Let's but I could easily see like a really a big backlash against him, partially because of what happens behind the scenes, but maybe also because of potential, maybe, I don't know if there is resentment over Birdman winning, over Boyhood, if that really exists within the industry, but
only by critics and Oscar bloggers.
Yeah,
probably. I could see maybe like a more online backlash against.
Yeah, which we all know basically means nothing. So
yeah.
All right, I wanna talk then next about Jake Gyllenhaal and Bradley Cooper.
Of course.
Shut up. There's a legitimate thing here.
There's a legitimate reason, but I mean, is it because you want to fawn over them, or
no? It is not. It's not at all. It's that they both have very, very, very baity projects and films. Bradley Cooper could be getting his 4th nomination in a row, which anyone 10 years ago never would have thought of that.
It's nuts.
He got the Oscar nomination without any precursor support over Jake Gyllenhaal, who had all the precursor support, and they are potentially going to be going up against each other at the Tonys this year.
Oh yeah. He has
Constellations and the Elephant Man. Yeah. So that's insane. That's crazy. And it looks like all of us have Gyllenhaal in, and the only people that don't have Cooper are James and you, Long.
Yes.
Because you have Fassbender and Hanks.
Yeah. I actually read the script for the film. Mm-hmm. I think it was called Chef at the time.
Yes.
And it is a really, really good role. Like, I have to admit, like, it really is showy. He's, battling drug addiction, and he's, has a lot of anger issues, and he's kind of this perfectionist, like this obsessive compulsive chef. And so he's, there's a lot of yelling, a lot of baity material, but I just don't think John Wells, who directed August Osage County, he's just not. He's like a borderline hack director, in my opinion. Like he's not somebody who I trust to actually deliver a good film, to be honest. And so, the film gets okay or decent reviews, and maybe Bradley Cooper gets rave reviews, or standout reviews for the film. I'm not sure if he can overcome being just the sole nominee for his film. It would have to be a really good performance.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously I have him in, and I do have the picture getting in as well. If it's success, I'm the only one that does. So, I mean, you guys can call me out on a ton of stuff, because I have a lot of predictions where I'm the only person predicting it. So go ahead. You can.
I think Adam Jones is fair. Southpaw just seems a little strange, to be honest.
It does, and I'm just looking at things.
You got Southpaw?
I do.
Yeah.
I
like,
only
especially after the trailer.
I only have it in if it's successful. If it's not,
yeah.
I'll take it out. But yeah, I'm just when I'm putting together picture predictions, I'm trying to look at a wide range of box office and themes and everything.
So I'm surprised that you have Southpaw and Adam Jones as the two Harvey Weinstein films. That, unless you have other ones too.
And Carol.
And Carol.
Yeah, so you think he's gonna get three best picture?
Hateful Eight too.
You have 4.
I do, but you gotta look at their placements. Their placements are important. I mean, like Southpaw and Adam Jones, I have at 8 and 9.
Okay.
And once we get closer to it, because we had 8 actual nominations this year, and it's been 9, for the years before that. I'm not going to have 10, so anything at the bottom is going to get dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, though, I don't think I've, I can imagine, Weinstein getting more than 2 films, and, I think just based on his track record, like, he doesn't handle multiple films very well.
No, he doesn't.
He tends to do better focusing on one kind of traditional Oscar bait film and really kind of hammering home with that film. So it's I'm not saying like it's impossible, but
yeah. Well, one thing I think that is in his advantage this year is that when looking at Carol, Hateful Eight, Southpaw, and Adam Jones, that it's a pretty wide range of films that I think can hit a lot of people's styles. Obviously, Carol and Hateful Eight to me are closer to real nominations than Southpaw and Adam Jones. Yeah.
Going back to Cooper, though, I do think Jones is a good nomination for everything you said, and even if going to the John Rawls comparison, I know everyone thought August vs. County was a big thing, and it wasn't, but it still got Streep and
Roberts.
Julia Roberts nominations. And if it is a Beatty role, I've heard good things from the script, like you said, about not only the film in general, but his performance. If that does ring true, Cooper seems like a good thing. And with Cooper's recent track record, unless there's some backlash, which, he got in for American Sniper, so I don't think there will be. I don't know what.
And I think it'll transcend just his performance because he also has his own history of drug addiction, which will, if they are smart, will be a part of talking. It'll be all the press junkets and talking about the film.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it's like I said, like I think the script is really good. Actually, I really think it's very, very populist, very something that I could easily see him being a pretty big hit. Like, it's something, it almost kind of reminds me of, like, Silver Linings Playbook, restaurant edition, essentially. It's that kind of comedy. There's romance. There's a lot of things that I think can appeal to, like, the broad audience, but it's.
Yeah.
If it was someone like David O. Russell handling this, yeah, for sure, I would predict it for everything. The script is that good, in my opinion.
Okay.
But it's this. Yeah, John Wells is. No, he's kind of. It's not a good director. Like, I can't.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that at all. Yeah. Let's look at a couple of the outliers in this category, and then I want to even talk about a couple of the guys in this that aren't in predictions, but maybe could do something. So Jason has Will Smith in Concussion getting in. He's the only one that does. Again, I'm always not quite sure if Jason is playing it very real at this stage or just kind of throwing stuff out
Dirk.
there. I know.
I
keep looking for an Adam Sandler prediction in here. because I know it's going to pop up somewhere.
I mean, he doesn't have a film coming out this year, I believe. Oh no, he had The Cobbler, but
He had The Cobbler. But anyway, yeah. So, and then I have Tom Hiddleston for I Saw the Light for the Hank Williams Jr. biopic, and that was just a reactionary. I just did it this week.
Just because of the news.
Yeah, and I had Bryan Cranston in my fifth slot, and so I switched to Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, I had Cranston in too, but after the word from the Trumbo screening, which a lot of Awardswatch posters went to, and kind of, spilled the beans a little bit on that, and it seemed no one really seemed to enjoy it that much. It was more of a and it was kind of on the acting too, which I don't think it's going to go far now.
Well, the thing that's interesting about that to me is that Bryan Cranston is, primarily a TV actor and has done very well with TV awards. So, like with the Globes and SAG, being that, especially SAG, has a lot of television voters that, if they like him enough, that could at least push him to those level of nominations, and maybe not all the way to the Oscars.
Yeah,
I could see him getting, Globe, like a person that gets Globe and SAG and then not an Oscar nomination.
He also has the Clearwater Girls endorsement. Apparently, he/C.
I guess we'll have to put it back in then.
Yeah, I mean,
and he had the Tony too, most recent.
Last year.
He's coming for the EGOT.
Definitely.
He wants it.
Yeah, but I just can't get over the fact that, I think for the most part, the consensus reaction from posters seems to be not very positive.
Yeah, it's pretty ho-hum.
It feels like, did I already say this, but it feels like Hitchcock in the way to me,
Okay.
That's a good comparison.
Kind of film that maybe has a subject that might go well about, kind of someone in Hollywood who might do well, but I don't think the film will go anywhere whatsoever.
Well, the thing about it is that to modern day moviegoers, nobody's going to care or know who Dalton Trumbo was, but to the people that vote, they're still alive.
Yeah.
They were around when this happened, so that might speak to them.
Yeah,
sure.
But
I think they may have experienced, those kinds of witch hunts and the Committee on American Activity.
Yeah, HUAC. Yeah, House Un-American. Yeah, my God, it's so insane. So yeah, there's some possibilities, but there's also, when I'm looking down the list, because our list is gigantic to kind of start to choose from, is we can always expect a lot of biopic type of performances to do pretty well. Obviously, we have Eddie Redmayne in there, so that's checked off. And potentially Michael Fassbender in Steve Jobs. We've got 3 people that have him predicted in 5th place. But then also something like Largo Alert, Paul Dano in Love and Mercy.
What is this?
That's the Beach Boys?
That's the Beach Boys biopic, so he's playing Brian Wilson.
I've never heard of this film before.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's and in a way, I think they can sum up how it's probably going to end at the end of the year. No one's going to hear of it. It's not going to get any attraction.
I think it's the most likely true as well. But I'm, just trying to pull out, some possibilities so we don't lock ourselves.
Well, you're going pretty.
Shut up!
Deep in the trash bin, essentially.
whatever, Olivia Cook. But no, I'm just trying to make sure. I just don't want us to lock ourselves into 5 choices in April and then look like fools when 3 of them don't work out.
I think there's plenty of choices, but I do not think Dano is one of them.
That's totally fine. I'm not saying he is. I'm just I wanted to do that to talk about it.
Okay.
So then what? Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you about Hiddleston. You said that you're predicting him, and
yeah, and again, I said it's a total reactionary thing, and he's in my 5th spot, and I don't expect him to last long, but he's there for now.
Yeah, I think he can fulfill your biopic. The point you just made about the biopics. I mean,
they're a big deal, and looking at these, there's not a whole lot of biopic stuff to really choose from. There's Antonio Banderas in the 33, but if you've seen the trailer, you'd probably know that's not happening. There's Love and Mercy. There's really not a lot. Ben Foster in Icon, but that might be a supporting role.
Yeah.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt in The Walk.
Yeah, The Walk.
Which is kind of on the cusp for me. There's something there.
Yeah, I think that's a weird film where, I could see it going either way. I could see, it really wowing people, because I think based on the description of what I think Zemeckis is trying to do with the film and the use of 3D and everything like that, I think it could be really something that is a really unique cinematic experience, and I think it could really wow critics and awards voters. But at the same time, Zemeckis is kind of, I don't know, very inconsistent, hit or miss, kind of not someone that I would automatically think of as somebody who could deliver awards caliber film on a regular basis.
Yeah, he did with Flight, but that was Denzel Washington was basically always going to get in there because it's such an extraordinarily baity role, and he's a previous nominee and winner, so that is not the case with someone like Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
No.
Yeah,
he's got more of an uphill battle.
And is the role even Beatty? Is it? I think he's maybe has a French accent, maybe, but that's the only thing I could imagine about character.
Yeah, but it's also based on a true story. It's an Oscar-winning documentary. There will be.
But is there going to be any loud moments, or is he just gonna
Maybe
if it was he's struggling with drug addiction, or he's blah blah blah.
Maybe people will just be overwhelmed by the appearance of the Twin Towers, and that's all they'll need.
Maybe
no good acting and supporting actor nominations.
There you go.
For the Towers.
Tower 1 will get supporting. That's horrible. Oh my god. Well, Are you guys looking outside of this really small group to anyone that could break through? What about Don Cheadle in Miles Ahead? It's. I don't think that's going to end up like Ray.
I think there are a lot of potential things. Even though I think Will Smith it has a chance. His Sony Columbia and has that good release date, and it's kind of topically relevant. And Smith. He'd have to surprise, but it could happen. Tom Courtenay got good reviews from 45 Years. Mm-hmm. Who knows what's happening with Genius, but Colin Firth maybe. Cranston, as we've said, Fassbender, as we said. I think it's pretty open.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the outside of DiCaprio and Redmayne, I think it's a pretty open race, and I think. You're right. I think I could easily see someone like Don Cheadle making it in for the Miles Davis biopic. I think that could really surprise. And
he directed it.
Yeah, that could. Who knows? It's very untested and it doesn't have a distributor, I believe. But
yeah, that's why it's so far down the list.
Yeah, but you never know.
All right. Let's chat a little bit. We'll move back to Best Picture, and we know that some of the members of the Board of Governors put it out there that they want to consider a 5 Best Picture slate again. Because it looks like, from most people's perspectives, that the attempt to expand it to embrace, more, let's say, audience-friendly films has not worked out.
It worked for like 2 years and then kind of stopped.
Yeah. There was that year that
Avatar and
that almost everything
District
was
9.
like over 100 million, and it just looked like it was, more representative of, box office and prestige, at the same time. And that seemed like what they were really going for. But it hasn't really been quite so much like that. First, I want to know what you guys think that they're going to do, and then what your opinion is on it. Do you prefer 5, 10, or an open 5 to 10? Adam, what do you think?
I'm really not sure. I mean, they did say that they seem to be going that way, and it would make sense for them to change. I mean, they do that all the time now, it seems. And kind of the whole 5 did. I really don't know. They did announce already that they have the set times, but I'm not sure. I don't think they're going to do it this year. I think they're going to keep what they have for this year. Maybe they'll do it later down the line. Based on what I prefer, again, I'm still open to idea. 5 does get more prestige, but we do have director in a way that kind of does the same thing, and the fact that they almost always line up at least 4 out of 5 kind of does the same thing there. And picture does bring in a lot more interesting things, and maybe just kind of selfishness that I kind of like. I like seeing her getting nominated. I like seeing things like that getting nominated. That I like having 10, but I guess it does make sense in terms of that. But we have other nominations, other things that have 10 nominees. So I think it works how it is.
Yeah. What do you think, Long? What do you think they're gonna do?
I agree. Like, I'm not really sure. I think I recently read I think Pete Hammond from Deadline published something about it, and he made it seem like it was only like a vocal minority of people of the Board of Governors that wanted to revert to the top 5 again. And it's hard to say. It's really, I don't think they will. I mean, I think people are just responding to the low ratings of this telecast, and I think people are just upset about that. I think, and they're kind of, some people are kind of maybe using that to kind of support their own agenda, essentially. Which is just, I think the people who want to go to the top 5 were opposed to the expansion to begin with, and I think they're using the recent telecast as just a way to promote that agenda. As my own personal preference, I actually prefer expanded field. I think, I'm not sure necessarily if I prefer a 10 or an open system between 5 and 10. Because I think maybe 10, you have just a set 10, you may get terrible Best Picture nominees like The Blind Side. But I guess,
extremely close.
Or even with the open one, you get extremely loud and incredibly close.
Yeah, it was open, wasn't it?
Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
So it's I think if the Academy is worried about ratings, which they seem to be a lot, then they should keep an expanded field, because I think top 5 this year, I couldn't imagine. I mean, I think maybe American Sniper would have been a top 5, but it would have been a sure thing, like it was an expanded field. Like, it's possible that Whiplash or Theory of Everything could have easily been taken that 5th spot. So
yeah,
I think
we had
worse
that,
off.
Yeah, we had that Bennett Miller lone director
in
an expanded field. So that was the first time that had happened.
I don't think anyone thought that was good.
No.
That was really strange.
That was totally insane and bizarre.
Yeah, the fact that it gets like actor, director, screenplay, and
supporting,
yeah, it's but yeah, I mean, like, I think I would prefer an expanded lineup. I do like the fact that it's able to capture more films and better reflect, I think, the year.
Yeah, I guess I am with you guys. I don't think they're going to make that change this year. I do think it's also kind of reactionary to to the show and to the ratings. I think there very well could have been some Neil Patrick Harris fatigue. And I mean, I certainly had it. I didn't think he was very good. I thought it was a pretty lousy show.
It was a terrible show. It was.
I just thought he was flat and pretty boring, and his whole prediction thing was really stupid.
Yeah.
Really stupid. So it wasn't well paced. It was a mess of an episode. So I'm excited that at least Zayden and Moron are not there anymore. That was the first step in improving it already, because not every season or every Oscar show needs to be about musicals. It's absurd to do that. It's not the 1950s or 60s anymore. Just let it go. Just stop. It can be about other things, like, movies and awards. But as far as what I want, I would love for it to revert back to a solid 10 and not a 5 through 10. Not just because it's easier to predict, but I just think it's better. It's weird. I don't like having 8 or 9 or 7. It looks weird, and I don't know if it's a strange OCD thing, but it just is.
Yeah.
I like 5 or 10. That's it.
Yeah, I could see that, in the sense that, like, it's strange. I mean, there was some consistency, with the 9 for those 3 years, but, last year they had 8. So I think, I mean, it's just, yeah.
The consistency would be nice.
Yeah, I think they should start there. But I'll be most excited to see who they have as producers. And it's funny, I didn't watch them, but I saw I saw a small little groundswell for people asking that the producers of the ESPY Awards do the Oscars, and I haven't watched it. Now I really want to watch it and see why that's the case, but I don't know if either of you watched that, but that was interesting, and I like the idea of possibly going outside of the small bubble for a producer.
Yeah, I mean, I think it may be good to get some outsider perspective to, maybe have some new ideas that could appeal to, because I think there's like a core audience for the Oscars, I think, and they're going to watch regardless of whether or not the show's any good.
Yeah, of course.
And it's getting those people who kind of tune in once in a while, who don't really follow, who maybe watch 1 or 2 movies a year to watch the Oscars, and I think, getting in somebody with new ideas, maybe outside perspective, or maybe a perspective that can appeal to, I think, those type of TV watchers.
Yeah, and it's I agree. I'm surprised that that the viewership was as down as much as it was, because at least they did have American Sniper in there, and it was the only hit. And it was funny because if you looked outside of, like traditional, Oscar predicting sites and stuff, and things like, People Magazine polls, people that voted in that kind of thing thought American Sniper was winning everything because it was the biggest movie. Because that's the perspective that they have, not as as an Oscar watcher, but as a box office mainstream kind of thing. So that was really funny, and it happens every year, but it was, I don't know, especially funny because it was the only hit film. I mean, yeah. Grand Budapest was a good size hit. There's
I
think
early on.
I think the the second biggest box office film of the Best Picture nominees was The Imitation Game, right? And that I think that's around 90-ish million. Or,
Yeah, 90.
Yeah. So I mean, like that's good for that film, but like in terms of like, there's only one film that essentially made over 100 million. I mean, it made a lot. It was the number one film of 2014, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
even if it made all of its money this year.
in terms of box office.
Yeah.
I can't. Now I'm thinking about this year. I think I could see a very similar situation happening this year too. Like I don't really see any box office hits.
That's what's like freaking me out when I'm looking at the list.
Mm-hmm.
There's The Revenant, Bridge of Spies have, I think, a really good chance of being big. Hateful Eight has a good chance of being big.
But beyond that,
Joy, maybe. I still think Joy could do Silver Linings Playbook numbers. So I don't know. There's a potential for a top 5 at least to do very, very well. I don't think Demolition or Carol or The Danish Girl are going to make any more than $30 million. That's the ceiling, I think, for any of those films.
Yeah,
I think like 50, but more like 50 for Suffragette, 30 for the others, I would say.
50 for Suffragette.
It could pick up with its narrative, and I don't know. It depends on how focus markets. If it does like I guess Theory of Everything made 30, 40. If it did, I think it can do a little better than that.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, the cost of a woman's movie ticket is the same as a man's movie ticket, so at least there won't be any less box office because of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could do well. Yeah, I agree. Like, I agree with those estimates. It's hard to say, but
And then there's obviously Inside Out, which if that actually actually pans out, obviously that would be big.
Yeah.
And then of course there's the Fast and Furious 7. So
if Vin Diesel's
since Vin Diesel knows it's going to be an Oscar nominee for Best Picture.
No, not Oscar nominee. Winner.
That's right.
Winner.
God, I would love for that to happen. It would be amazing and awesome.
Have you seen it?
No.
Is it worthy? Is it Best Picture material?
I have not. I'm sure Paul Walker will get a supporting actor nomination. I'm sure of it.
Third posthumous winner.
Yep.
Ever.
I'm gonna call it. He's winning. That's terrible.
Oh
yeah.
All the potentially offensive jokes on this.
Yes, this is not the Justin Bieber roast, so we can't do that. Oh my god, I just noticed Jason has the Star Wars movie in. Troll. I'm gonna get you, Jason. I'm gonna get you on a podcast. And it won't be pretty.
Kangaroo trial.
I look forward to that, actually. I look forward just to...
Yeah.
He did one last year, or maybe two, but he was pretty good. He was shy. He doesn't have as big a voice as he does fingers.
Well, maybe if you get Kenneth on and Dirk, maybe, or someone kind of that would have no problems. Kind of.
I don't think anybody has a problem overpowering Jason in a podcast. He just, I don't know. I can't wait to get him back on there. It'll be cool. Well, I think we're good. I think we can let people off on a nice. What would it be, like an hour and 15 minutes? That'll be like a Awardswatch record short podcast. But it's the first. So there's so much that's going to happen. We are going to have the Cannes Film Festival announcement next week, and we'll see what ends up there, and then have another podcast soon after that. Hopefully, soon after that.
Definitely.
I want to thank both you guys for being on the first podcast of the season, and definitely welcome you, Adam, to the Gold Rush Gang. It's a lot of fun, and I think it's going to be a very, very good season. And to everybody listening, you can always check the updated Gold Rush Gang predictions at Awardswatch.com and just follow the predictions path down to the Gold Rush Gang, and those can change minute to minute. So keep an eye on those. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at awards_watch and like us on Facebook. And I think that might be it for the day. Thanks again, guys, very, very much.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.